My name is Megan Mills. I am what is called an ABC Today Network Manager at Big Brothers Big Sisters of Eastern Missouri. I'll explain what that is here in a second.
Absolutely. I'm Jasmine Harlan. I am an alumni mentoring manager at Big Brothers Big Sisters, working in our alumni mentoring department, servicing our young people ages 18 to 25, and I'll get more into that in a second.
Those are going to be the two main groups that we discussed today. Really with the goal of figuring out what it looks like for us to create that smooth transition for our youth that we serve into college, and we're going to kind of go a little bit also into what it looks like for career readiness and workforce readiness as well. But before we jump into that, obviously talk a little bit about Big Brothers Big Sisters of Eastern Missouri. Perhaps you've heard of Big Brothers Big Sisters overall, and you hear about that one-to-one mentoring opportunity for the youth and an adult within their community. Particularly with Eastern Missouri, there are a myriad of other programs that we are going to discuss that help our youth as well. So purpose, really partnering with young people where they're at to enhance and encourage an independent, stable, and meaningful life. We are relationship-based from the time that we start working with them till the end. We are building relationships with the youth, with the parent or guardian, with community connections, with schools, with each other, and we really emphasize that in order to support our youth in the best way possible. And so the youth that we serve are ages 5 to 25. We serve all demographic, geographic locations of students and youth, and so we're able to support them in different areas. Within all of our integrated programs and services, which you see a lot listed up here, we're going to touch pretty much on all of them, but it's going to be smaller on some and larger on the other. We service and empower over 10,000 youth within Eastern Missouri, within our area. We have a partnership of over 4,000 parents, guardians, and adult mentors within our services that we partner with. We are in connection with 3 major school districts within our area. We have over 100 amazing community partners that work alongside us within all of our work. And so in thinking of creating that smooth transition for students from K through 12 into college or career readiness, we focus in and we start those pathways as quickly and as early as possible. And so again, we start serving youth at 5 years old through 25, but really within that K through 12 setting, we also have programs where we meet those students where they're at within school and within that education system. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about we're not going to go over too much about our mentoring, our one-to-one, because that's our main focus. That's to what people know most of. I am going to talk about group mentoring a little bit, which is something that we do. Intensive supports for students, so we do have opportunities with those 3 school districts that I mentioned, where we're able to actually identify students, whether they are matched in our program or not, to encourage and support them within their academics as well, one-to-one. A big one we're going to talk about is the ABC Today program, and then Big Futures and Alumni Mentoring Jasmine's going to take here at the end. So let's start with that ABC Today, which I said I'm an ABC Today Network Manager. This is my role. This is the program that we have. So this is kind of an overall view of it. I'm going to give a little bit of history. ABC Today was a program that was discussed and started in Cape Girardeau, which is a city a couple hours south of St. Louis, Missouri, where we are located. They're one of our big school districts that we work with, and they really challenged us to say, hey, what can we do to connect and support students, and more than just what is there? What can we do to support those schools? And so through a lot of months of back and forth and negotiation and working with board members and community members, we were able to come up with this idea of ABC Today. On the previous slide, what you saw, ABC, which we're kind of talking about agency, belonging, and connection here, the new ABC. So I apologize with that. I'll kind of share how we're reframing that too within our work. But originally ABC stood for attendance, behavior, and then course performance in reading and math for our program. Realizing that, hey, if we can meet the needs of those 4 core areas and we can encourage the students to be successful there, it's most likely that they're going to graduate and be able to be successful in whatever their future career path is. And so Kate was like, yes, let's do it. We did it with our littles who are matched in our program. They were like, this is awesome. Can you support all of our students, whether they're matched or not? We did it. And so we ended up supporting all of the schools within Cape, which was a handful of elementary schools, a couple middle schools, a couple high schools, and then we were able to bring it up to St. Louis. So we've been expanding. This has been since about 2013, 2012. So there's been a lot of opportunity that way. So in saying that, what does that mean? What does that look like, right? What is this? How do we support in those ABCs? So there's 3 really components and big ones for the ABC Today program. The first one is the network. And this is where I'm going to focus in a lot, because this is where we also see that community connection and that collegiate connection, as well as that career connection for our students, both starting at 5 years old up through 12. And so each ABC Today school that we work with has its own network. At the head of that network is the principal for that school. So they get to align what their goals are, what their emphasis is, what the students are wanting to challenge them in, and how we're wanting to see them grow. Along with that, we're going to get a handful of staff from the school, counselors, social workers, some teachers as well. It could be instructional aides, just to kind of give that context and perspective of what's going on there. We're also, as you kind of see, we're going to include individuals from the community. And this is really important because not only do they provide resources and support, it shows the school that the community is backing them up and has that support as well. And so we might have a bunch of faith-based partners depending on what faiths are prominent within that area. We want to include them on the network. We are going to have other business partners, whether that's local, small businesses. We have some like financial institutions we try and include on each of our networks, because they usually have the funds to assist and support in what we're doing. We are going to include other nonprofits that might be working alongside the school as well. And then the convener, which is someone from our agency who's going to be there kind of connecting and making all those pieces. So we have this huge network that's going to provide those opportunities, those resources, what this looks like. We meet every quarter once we get the school data that shows how students are succeeding in those 4 areas or where the challenges are. We meet, we discuss the data, we figure out, okay, where are students growing? Where can we celebrate and be excited about that, and how can we support them? We also are able to kind of see, okay, well, where are we lacking? Where are the challenges or barriers, and what can we do to support that? And we kind of address that with each data, and then we do the cycle. So like I said, we celebrate some of it. The school individuals are on our network to clarify really what's going on. We know that data can just be a number, but we also know that there's stories behind it. There are circumstances and instances that we really need to learn more about, and so the school staff are going to be able to help that. And then we customize. We know that every school is different, whether it's school to school in the same district, whether it's elementary to elementary across districts, there's just going to be a huge shift. And so the goal with this is to really bring together and provide that support. We started early knowing that these components and this data will assist in that student and the students kind of figuring out what their future holds for them. So really quickly, the other direct school program that we have is group mentoring, similar to one-to-one, but we include opportunities really for students to meet with caring adults, to have those extra resources. And so during the school day, one of our staff will come in, they'll meet with the students, there's a group of them, the staff or the school has kind of chosen who fits best, what does that look like, what data supports that. And so they're really working on these skills here. And so it's kind of building that self-efficacy, building that self-advocacy and empowerment, so that really students can make those decisions for themselves. We also really, this is a big focus, to do those monthly out-of-school kind of experiences, so connect them with the community and to help them see themselves in their future and where they may go as well. So there's just saying, based on the data, that's what we do. We pick and choose those students. And so really what I want to go over before I turn it over to Jasmine are just some of these examples. If we're thinking of that college and career readiness, if we're trying to build that smooth transition, it all comes down to the connection pieces that we have. And so not only do we have these individuals on our individual networks for each ABC Today school, so we have higher education partners. These are 4 of the prominent ones that from St. Louis and Missouri that we have. We also, like I said, have those businesses where we can make that connection with students. They're providing experiences, they're providing insight. We also provide campus visits. This is one of our group mentoring groups where they may have just gone for a sporting event, but that doesn't mean that it's not a connection piece that's going to last in a child's mind for the future. And then we've also done things like trade and career fairs where we have brought in a bunch of different individuals. We've done college fairs as well, just so students have that opportunity to connect. And so that's just one way within the schools that we are really working to connect what those students are able to do and where they're able to see themselves. So I'll turn it over to Jasmine to kind of continue that.
Absolutely. I'm going to be talking about more so about high school and post-high school initiatives. One started with First Jobs. So First Jobs is our workforce development initiative, still fairly new. We started in 2020, and we're really focusing on the age group of 15 to 18. Getting them prepared for looking for a job. Our young people definitely ask about those things. Like, is there anything that you all can provide to help you with a resume, help you with an interview? We definitely heard them and wanted to implement that. As far as workforce readiness training, a little bit about what that looks like. We started with a curriculum approach. We did allow our young people to choose 4 courses overall that was geared towards their interests. And in that, it was either banking and savings, how to find a job, customer service skills, mock interviews, social networking. And the special thing about social networking, my department, alumni mentoring, we were able to partner with First Job to present that particular course, because we talk a lot to our alumni about the importance of social capital, the importance of building, having a sense of community, having those supports, and not doing things on your own. So that's a little bit there. After they do complete those 4 courses, we do give them an incentive, because we do know our young people love incentives to get them through that process. Also, our overall vision for First Job, I'm going to start off with job fairs. So we do implement job fairs as well, partnering with local companies in our area, such as Target, Instacart, not only companies, but also trade schools, cosmetology, mechanics, what have you, just whatever we're really hearing our young people say that they're interested in, to give them that experience before going to college or earlier on in the process of them figuring those things out. As far as campus tours, we haven't necessarily done any campus tours just yet. Like I said, it's an early initiative, but our vision overall is to eventually, we do have a partnership with Southeast Missouri State, and we want to go overnight with them. So I've actually given our young people that overall experience, not just a one-day experience, but staying a night on campus. What does that feel like? Getting connected with Access, campus life. Again, introducing those things to them earlier on, again, because it's all about building a sense of community, and how do you go about that? I know young people want to say, I'm antisocial, I don't want to be bothering people, but that's not going to get you anywhere. You have to communicate, you have to be able to connect. As far as what we have learned from First Jobs, our young people definitely told us they felt like they were in school after school. So we definitely had to revamp that approach there, and I'll get to that in just a second. Zoom fatigue, we started in 2020, so it was not only was it another thing for them to keep up with, but again, it's another thing on Zoom, and so we really wanted to get back in person with our young people. Participants love incentives, I kind of touched base on that already, and then feedback from job interviews. So what we do communicate with our young people is that just because we have these partnerships and they do come out to job fairs, this does not guarantee you a job, unfortunately. So if they don't land a job, how can we work together with our local partners to provide that feedback to them, whether it's a rubric, a conversation, or what have you, so that they can continue to build on those skills and feel even more confident once they go to their next interview. Leading back to our approach this year, we went with a more so of a workshop conference style. That way, it's not something that our young people do have to keep up with, and it's more so like a one and done situation. As far as the dates in April, we did do a 2-day series going over interview skills and how to find a job. And then May 19th is actually going to be the same day, consisting of the same information, a half-day conference, but then also a job fair afterwards that evening. Same information included in all sessions, but still just not breaking it up so much and giving it all in one session. Okay. These are just a little bit of testimonials. If I cannot start it, I probably should come out of it. Yeah. I'm sorry, but these are just testimonials from our participants from our first job fair. They learned a lot about credit, savings. They definitely found it helpful. And again, just feeling confident about their overall interview process when they are trying to land a job. Okay? Now I'm transitioning over into my department. What is alumni mentoring and Big Futures? First off, I know you're probably wondering why the 2 names. Big Futures is what our participants know, and alumni mentoring is more so of internal language, but we are introducing both titles to our participants so they know that there's no difference in between both. As I mentioned, we do support our young people ages 18 to 25. And we like to assist them with what we call E3s, enroll, employment, or enlist. But not only that, and definitely in that transition piece, which is my pride and joy, because young people say that they love to take a gap year, and I think that's something I could have benefited from. Instead of just feeling the pressure like I had to do something right then and there. But not only in transition, helping them figure out what they like to do, but life skills and soft skills, how to go about getting that first apartment, that car, how to land an interview, how to go about an interview, create a resume, what have you. Big Brother Sisters of Eastern Missouri was one of the first affiliates to launch this initiative. We did start ours in 2014, and then Alumni Mentoring became a national initiative recently in our most recent Big Brother Sisters of America strategic plan. It's important to know that we are not curriculum-based at all. We really use the voice of our participants to guide us in the work that we do, and we're most so like event-based. So if we're hearing different trends about mental health, if we're hearing different trends about career readiness, that's what we use to implement our different programs versus giving them a class setting. But really, some of our folks are already in college and stressing out enough about those particular things. I just want to give a snapshot of how we make our transition work. So they're seniors and then they have to transition over to alumni mentoring. We like to use the illustration of passing of the time. Our first started off with our senior planning committee. Our senior planning committee consists of alumni mentoring managers, which is myself, and also mentoring managers as well. Mentoring managers, they are on the K through 12 side, and their primary role is to monitor the safety of the ongoing relationship between the big, the parent, and the little. So they know the family, and so what better person to partner with than that individual that's been working with that family and kind of know some things that we wouldn't necessarily know or pick up on to better assist them. Just to add on to that, in that senior planning committee, we do have subcommittees such as broken into two, operations and celebrations. And in those two groups, we pretty much discussed what has worked in our process, what didn't work, are there any changes that need to happen in our process to make this transition smoother, and then how do we want to celebrate our seniors. So this year we did do a senior breakfast. In the past we have did like a parade style. We'll have separate groups go to different homes and honking, blowing blowhorns and all that embarrassing stuff to celebrate our seniors and let them know that we truly do appreciate them and value them and congratulate them in their next steps. Okay, next, as far as how this work looks in this transition, so mentoring managers, they complete the high school check-ins with our seniors. Checking in, seeing, okay, what is it that you want to do? Is there anything that we can probably do to help you with your transition? Is there anything else that you want to learn, such as saving or
3 minutes.
Okay. Okay. But yes, getting to know what they feel like that will help them mostly be successful in their transition. And then after the high school check-in is completed, alumni mentoring managers, we do schedule senior transition conversations with our mentoring managers that we are partnered with. And in that senior transition conversation, we talk about senior plans, the family, any significant information that may be helpful as we support our young people, the overall match relationship, were they were they communicative with you, or did you have to reach out to them several times in order to make a contact? And then from there, we kind of discuss resources and action plans and introduction conversations before they actually transition over. A little bit about our event in this senior transition process too. Scholarship Info Night. This is one of our signature events that we do host in the beginning of the year, January more than likely, where we partner with Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Foundation, Thurgood Marshall, St. Louis Scholarship Foundation, and Scholarship Central. And also different schools. We have connected with school counselors as well to give their perspective of what how our young people can navigate their process into post-secondary on their own, and actually explain what they are there for and how they can help them while they're in the schools. And then also just talking to them about the different scholarship opportunities that are accessible to them. We do offer 2 different scholarship opportunities that are available to them based on them being in the program. And that's the New Era Scholarship and the Edward Jones Scholarship. And then we have summer vibes. The explanation is in the name. In the summer, we like to get our seniors together with our current alumni to have a celebration overall and get them connected with each other, eat, have good food, play games, and then also our seniors get to hear from our current alumni about their experience in the program and how it has been beneficial to them.
Are you ready for questions?
Just a little bit about what this looks like, so you all can read obviously and see, and some of the data that we have there. Is there something else, another slide that you wanted to show? And we can have questions.
Overall, just different connection, experience, and opportunities. We do have MLUs for 4 different institutions, such as Missouri State University, Southeast Missouri State, St. Louis Community College, and I'm sorry, y'all. But yeah, these are just the CEOs that we expose our young people to: connections, experiences, opportunities, scholarships, leadership conferences. We just want to make sure we're connecting them overall. A little bit about our data. Currently, we have 36% that are enrolled, 43% that are employed, 3% that are enlisted. In transition, we have 18, but that includes those current seniors that will move from transition in August into their actual E3. And overall, we're at 82%, so we're in good standing as far as data. Overall, what we're learning is to center our alumni voices. We are working with adults. They are dealing with adult obstacles and challenges. Overall, our leaders are owning their futures. Our relationships with bigs and caregivers are unique in this space. We do not leverage them all the time. A lot of times, our young people like to say, I'm grown, or they like to say, the parents like to say, hey, my kids are grown, you can just really reach out to them. Overall, just being genuine about ourselves, being our young people can pick up when we are being genuine and when we are being scripted. So that's the best approach overall, and being informal is best. And overall, just writing everything down, creating structure for the department overall of what works best for our region. And Matchvoice is our best friend. We use Salesforce to track our work. And that is our contact information.
So again, lots of programming, apologize, websites are there. You can always look and see for particularly the Sisters of Eastern Missouri what those connection pieces are, but that's kind of our big goal as we go through there, so.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We can go ahead and turn it over and then we'll get some questions at the end.
Are there any questions?
I guess I have a question.
Absolutely.
For your program, First Jobs, how do you all pick your partners that come in for the job fair? Is there like a criteria that you all use, or is it we just want local businesses to come in, like for the job fairs and things?
Not necessarily. So what we do is we leverage each other. If you have a connection with a particular job or company, definitely let us know so that our workforce development employee can definitely reach out to that particular company and invite them to our job fair as well. But really it's based on who we know, so we can have them come out, or whatever new relationships we establish, we invite them as well.
I would say we listen to student voice, or we listen to our young people,
Yes.
Just as far as what they're interested in and kind of gear it towards that. So one event may be different from the other. Obviously our relationships year over year, event over event, are going to be the same, but we really want to emphasize obviously what our students are either looking for within that. So.
Other questions?
Yeah, just like kind of what you mentioned about listening to student voices. Do you guys like survey your students, or is this through like just discussion-based stuff that you kind of determine how you're going to go about the program for the year?
Which program?
Or yeah, I guess
Any
like,
of them?
yeah.
So I think it's different from program to program. A lot like Alumni Mentoring Big Futures has surveys. When we do surveys with our one-to-one matches, within more of our school-based, we are working on building surveys. The group mentoring is actually just 2 years in, so that's a newer program. And then our ABC Today program, we try and bring in student voice to the events, but we don't have a physical necessarily survey with that. So our goal is always to try and provide that, but physical specific routes and actual providing that data are probably more so for the older programs that we have. So it's a goal, it just kind of depends from program to program. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then alumni mentoring, the those are questions that come up in our support calls anyway, so we're asking them again what would they like to see, how am I doing as I'm supporting you, is there anything I can do differently that's catered to your learning style or interest that I can be supportive in anyway. Those are the type of questions that we like to ask on our support calls.
Thank you both so much. Thank you.
Thank you.